Been about a week since Dricus du Plessis tweeted this. I've agreed to the opponent and location, so what are we waiting for? And I'm also starting to wonder, what is the UFC waiting for? Because wouldn't it make sense to have the main event announced for a pay-per-view in as much advance as possible? Especially since both guys have agreed to it, seemingly, we assume. And in this particular case, both guys don't like each other. I mean, it really is a little bit curious to me, and I say a little bit because maybe this is just delays and the UFC wants to make a big splash. Maybe they're waiting for, who knows, an announcement from their competitor so that they can try trump it and say, hey, we got this big grudge match for our middleweight title or something like that. But I'm just looking at this and thinking, is there something they're not telling us? Is Dricus du Plessis maybe not going to fight Israel Adesanya? And if that's the case, I'm all for it, because I personally don't think Adesanya should be getting the next middleweight title shot. And I think, yeah, there are plenty of other middleweight contenders. I mean, Adesanya really is the least deserving in the top 5 right now. But with that being said, all the other top 5 middleweights are booked up. Whitaker is fighting Chimaev, Cannonier is fighting Imavov, Sean Strickland is fighting Paulo Costa, and it's one of those situations where, to me, all signs point to it being Adesanya, because again, the UFC likes him. He has got that Dana White privilege. Shout outs to Tony Ferguson as always. And you know, this guy is he's got that benefit of being liked by the UFC, so they will insert him into said title shot. He's got that Conor McGregor treatment, Jorge Masvidal, etc. But with that being said, it hasn't been announced yet. So here's a little speculation. Is the UFC waiting, for whatever reason, for one of these upcoming middleweight fights to go ahead, whether it's Strickland and against Costa, or Whitaker against Chimaev, or Cannonier against Imavov, and the winner may get offered a shot against DDP, and they are going to use this potentially to try and negotiate less money for Israel Adesanya. Is Adesanya asking for too much money? Because even though everything, as far as we know from the outside, seems to be pretty good between him and the UFC, there's always butting of the heads, especially with these big stars. It always happens. I mean, the more money the fighters make, the more butting of the heads there is with the UFC. It's just business at the end of the day. And Eugene Behrman, who, by the way, I'm losing more and more faith in this guy, just the more I hear him talk. And this has been going on for several years, but recently it's just been, this guy is just terrible to listen to. He's like the most entitled coach in MMA history, and that is not an exaggeration. But anyway, he was asked about Submission Radio. This was a couple of years ago when Adesanya was champion, that Adesanya actually wasn't being promoted by the UFC as much as they felt he could have. And they were talking about fight week stuff, and then Behrman went quiet and said, I can't really talk about that. So is there something going on there between Adesanya and the UFC? Because if he is asking for extra money that the UFC doesn't want to pay, then this is the way to get Fighter X to agree to the fight for the money that they are offering. They can say, well, if you don't take it, we'll give it to Fighter Y over here, and they'll take it any day of the week. This is common practice in combat sports, but particularly the UFC, happens in boxing, but no boxing promoter has anywhere near the amount of fighters of the UFC. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think, because why else would DDP be putting this out there? And also, Adesanya has gone quiet, and we all know it's not normal for this guy to go quiet. I mean, he can't stop talking, this guy. Adesanya is a motor mouth. So, yeah. Is there something to this, or is the fight going to get announced tomorrow and I'll be just speculating about nothing? Let me know what you guys think down below. Like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Drop your thoughts down below, and I'll catch you later.